Inside the walls of the Indiana Fever's front office, a quiet conversation was unfolding, one that would send shockwaves through the world of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom shaking up the WNBA, had just dropped a bombshell. Behind closed doors, what she revealed wasn't just personal, it had the power to flip an entire franchise upside down. Her words sparked a chain reaction. One coach's reign came to an abrupt end, and a name no one saw coming, Larry Bird, suddenly entered the mix. As rumors swirled about Bird possibly stepping in, insiders were left stunned. This wasn't just a coaching change, it was a seismic shift. One moment of truth from the league's brightest star may have set in motion the most surprising hire in pro sports history. And now, the very blueprint of coaching in women's basketball could be headed for a bold new era. Christy Sides remains the current head coach of the Indiana Fever, having steered the team through Caitlin Clark's remarkable rookie season. Hired in January, Sides took on the challenge of welcoming one of the most high-profile players in league history and skillfully guided Clark's transition into the WNBA spotlight. Despite the immense media pressure, Sides managed to keep the team focused and grounded. Contrary to swirling rumors, Stephanie White is not coaching the Fever. She currently leads the Connecticut Sun. While White did serve as head coach of the Fever in the past, guiding them to a playoff appearance, her tenure ended following that season. She then made a stop at Vanderbilt before returning to the WNBA with Connecticut. So far, the Fever's coaching setup under Christy Sides has remained steady throughout the current season. As the Indiana Fever continues to rise in both performance and popularity, questions are starting to surface about the internal dynamics shaping the team's long-term vision, especially around coaching, with Caitlin Clark propelling the franchise into national headlines and boosting its commercial value. Some insiders are speculating whether the organization might consider bold, even unconventional, moves to stay ahead. One name floating around is Larry Bird, an NBA icon with deep Indiana roots. While Bird has never coached in the WNBA, his basketball are some is legendary. Three-time NBA champion, former Indiana Pacers executive, and widely regarded as one of the greatest to ever play the game. Analysts are now debating, could Clark's star power and the Fever's sudden success push the franchise toward a high-profile hire to keep momentum going? It's a possibility that, while surprising, speaks to just how much the landscape around Indiana basketball is changing. Caitlin Clark's leap from college hoops at the University of Iowa to the professional stage in the WNBA hasn't been without its challenges. At Iowa, Clark played under coach Lisa Bluter, who gave her wide-ranging freedom on the court, especially on offense. That level of autonomy is rare in the WNBA, where systems are tighter and coaching structures are more rigid. As Clark joined the Indiana Fever, adapting to a new playing style and working within a different system under head coach Christy Sides required real adjustments. Still, both Clark and Sides have kept their relationship professional and respectful, praising each other in interviews throughout the season. That said, fans and media alike have closely watched in-game interactions between the two. Every courtside conversation, every sideline moment, has sparked analysis, some even speculating on possible disagreements over strategy or Clark's role in the lineup. But so far, despite the pressure and the spotlight, the rookie star and her coach have kept things steady as they work through the growing pains of a high-stakes rookie season. Caitlin Clark's shift from college basketball to the pros came with more than just a change in uniform. It brought a whole new coaching reality. At Iowa, Clark was the centerpiece, granted full control of the offense and given the green light to make split-second decisions. That level of freedom doesn't easily translate to the WNBA, where team systems are more structured and roles are tightly defined. Adapting to that difference has been one of Clark's biggest challenges. Naturally, this raises questions. How do Clark's preferences, her style of play, her view of team chemistry, and the offensive flow she thrives in shape her opinion on what effective coaching looks like at the pro level? And could those preferences influence her role in steering the Fever's future? Enter Larry Bird, a name that echoes through Indiana's basketball halls. From growing up in French Lick to becoming a Boston Celtics legend, and later serving as a key figure in the Indiana Pacers front office, Bird's basketball legacy runs deep. His decades of experience give him a unique understanding of how to build and sustain winning cultures, something that could hold major value if the Fever decides to reimagine its leadership to match Clark's trajectory. Larry Bird's impact on the game of basketball is legendary, both on the court and in the front office. As a player, he led the Boston Celtics to 3 NBA championships, earning a reputation as one of the game's greatest shooters and fiercest competitors. His iconic rivalry with Magic Johnson not only defined a generation, but also played a major role in skyrocketing the NBA's popularity during the 1980s, laying the groundwork for the league's modern era. Bird's post-playing career was just as impressive. He took the reins as head coach of the Indiana Pacers in the late 90s, guiding them to the NBA Finals in 2000. Later, as president of basketball operations, he helped shape competitive rosters and establish a strong team culture rooted in discipline and accountability. Bird's basketball philosophy centers on the fundamentals, relentless competitiveness, and a team-first mentality, values that have stood the test of time at every level of the sport. Larry Bird's basketball values discipline, teamwork, and competitive fire could very well translate to the women's professional in Indiana. Bird's name carries legendary weight. Any organization looking to boost credibility, deepen basketball IQ, and earn instant respect from players would find his presence invaluable. His influence isn't just historical, it's cultural. Traditionally, the WNBA has leaned on coaches with deep roots in the women's game, former players, longtime assistants, and those who've built their expertise specifically within the league's unique rhythms and dynamics. But the landscape is shifting. Across professional sports, more teams are beginning to experiment with crossovers, bringing in coaches from the men's game to lead women's teams, and vice versa. The big question now, can basketball brilliance transcend gender lines? Some organizations believe it can, and they see value in blending different perspectives, experiences, and coaching styles to create something fresh, competitive, and forward-thinking. The growing success of coaches from diverse backgrounds in women's professional sports has opened the door to more unconventional hiring decisions, especially when teams are searching for a competitive edge. It's raised an important question. In the coaching world, does elite basketball knowledge and leadership ability truly depend on gender, or can it transcend traditional boundaries? Analysts are starting to challenge the old frameworks, suggesting that coaching effectiveness should be measured by strategy, communication, and results, not just by resumes that fit historical norms. And when it comes to a once-in-a-generation talent like Caitlin Clark, the conversation gets even more complex. Coaching her isn't just about managing a team, it's about maximizing potential, balancing media pressure, and building systems around a transformative player. That unique challenge might call for fresh perspectives and bold coaching moves that break from tradition. In professional sports, coaching decisions are rarely based on wins and losses alone. Franchises weigh a mix of factors on court performance, relationships with players, team culture, fan engagement, and commercial impact. For the Indiana Fever, the equation has become even more complex. Once a struggling team, the Fever has quickly transformed into one of the WNBA's most commercially visible franchises, thanks in large part to the arrival of Caitlin Clark. That rapid shift brings both pressure and opportunity, forcing ownership and management to think beyond traditional coaching metrics. Evaluating a coach now includes much more than just game plans and standings. It's about player development, team chemistry, handling media attention, and most importantly, maximizing the performance and potential of superstar talent. For the Fever, every coaching decision moving forward could shape not just the team's record, but its identity and future in the spotlight. Caitlin Clark's star power has brought massive commercial success to the Indiana Fever, but with that spotlight comes added complexity in coaching decisions. The franchise now faces the delicate task of balancing its competitive ambitions with the development and satisfaction of its most high-profile player, who also happens to be its most valuable marketing asset. Behind the scenes, any potential coaching change isn't as simple as swapping one name for another. Legal experts point out that such moves often involve detailed contracts, buyout clauses, formal recruitment processes, and league approval, all of which must be handled with precision to avoid legal entanglements. In the modern era of professional sports, superstar athletes like Clark often have an indirect yet undeniable influence on coaching decisions. Their development needs, personal preferences, and alignment with the team's vision can heavily shape leadership choices, especially when a franchise is deeply invested in building around them both on the court and in the business arena. In professional sports, the relationship between elite players and coaches is crucial to a franchise's success. When teams make major financial and competitive investments in a player like Caitlin Clark, who brings both performance and revenue, the dynamics shift. Coaching isn't just about strategy anymore. It's about developing and maximizing a star's full potential. There's precedent across sports where superstar preferences influence coaching changes, especially when concerns arose over how talent was being utilized. With generational players like Clark, their input often carries more weight. Their perspective on coaching effectiveness can directly impact leadership decisions, shaping the direction of the franchise far beyond typical player-coach relationships. Questions continue to surface about how franchises balance player input with objective evaluations of coaching performance and how much influence star players should have in decisions like coaching changes. While the core principles of basketball strategy, development, and preparation are widely seen as universal, their implementation and communication often need to be tailored to fit different team dynamics and environments. At the elite level, successful coaching goes beyond tactics. It requires understanding player psychology, making smart in-game adjustments, and building strong relationship skills that can translate across leagues and competition levels. The technical side of coaching offensive and defensive systems, player roles, skill training, and game prep benefits from diverse experiences. Drawing from different coaching backgrounds can bring valuable insights to both men's and women's basketball. Sports psychology research shows that effective coaching is rooted in strong communication, basketball expertise, leadership, and interpersonal skills rather than shared gender between coaches and players. Legal experts emphasize that hiring decisions must be based on legitimate qualifications and organizational fit. Relying on gender-based assumptions, positive or negative, can raise serious concerns around fairness and potential discrimination in today's sports landscape. High-profile coaching hires often bring more than just tactical value. They generate media buzz, fan engagement, and commercial opportunities that elevate a franchise's visibility and brand, sometimes outweighing purely competitive considerations. The Indiana Fever's commercial rise has been closely tied to Caitlin Clark's presence and performance, placing added pressure on the organization to make decisions that sustain fan interest and business momentum. High-profile coaching hires could amplify that success, drawing media attention, attracting new sponsors, and boosting public interest not just in the Fever, but in women's basketball overall. As unconventional coaching appointments gain traction in pro sports, some wonder if the WNBA might shift its traditional hiring patterns to embrace more diverse backgrounds. This raises an important question: should commercial appeal influence coaching decisions? And if so, how much? While bold hires may generate headlines, teams must weigh whether they deliver long-term competitive value or simply offer short-term marketing gains. Elite basketball players need coaching that not only enhances their strengths but also addresses areas for growth, while fitting their talents into systems that elevate overall team performance. For Caitlin Clark, that means translating her explosive college success into the professional game, all while preserving the creativity and scoring instincts that made her a generational star and commercial powerhouse. Different coaching philosophies approach player development, offensive flow, defensive schemes, and team chemistry in unique ways. The right fit can unlock untapped potential not just for the player, but for the entire team. The jump from college to the pros demands specialized coaching insight. It requires an understanding of how to guide top amateur talent through the physical, strategic, and competitive demands of the professional level. Sports analysts are asking whether Caitlin Clark's growth might benefit from coaching that prioritizes offensive creativity, competitive fire, and individual excellence within systems designed to elevate her unique skill set. When high-profile franchises like the Indiana Fever make bold coaching decisions, the ripple effects can shape league-wide expectations. Unconventional hires or innovative strategies, especially if successful, can redefine what WNBA teams look for in coaching candidates and influence hiring trends across the league. League officials do monitor coaching moves to ensure compliance with WNBA policies and procedures, but franchises are largely free to make decisions they believe will enhance performance and long-term success. The outcome of the Fever's choices could set new precedents not just for how to coach generational talent, but for how the league evolves its approach to leadership and player development. The broader women's basketball community, including college programs and international leagues, is closely watching how coaching trends evolve in the WNBA. Innovative strategies and diverse coaching hires at the professional level can influence coaching culture across all tiers of the sport. If successful, these approaches may accelerate change, opening new doors for coaching career development and reshaping how coaching success is defined in women's basketball. High-profile coaching decisions also generate major media attention and spark public debate. This coverage affects not only a franchise's reputation and fan engagement, but also how seriously the organization is perceived in terms of leadership and commitment to winning.